Quick test. Close your eyes and describe the taste of cola. Not Coke or Pepsi specifically, just cola. What does it taste like? Stumped? You're not alone. Ask 100 people this question, and you'll get 100 confused faces. It tastes like cola, they'll say, as if that explains anything. Some might venture sweet or fizzy, but that describes every soda. Others might say caramelly or vanilla-ish, but they're grasping. Here's the bizarre truth. Cola is the most recognizable flavor on Earth, yet almost no one can describe what it actually tastes like. Billions of people drink it daily. It's sold in nearly every country. Kids recognize it from their first sip. But if you ask someone to recreate that flavor from scratch, they'd be completely lost. How did this happen? How did a flavor so complex and mysterious become the default taste of carbonated beverages worldwide? And what exactly are we tasting when we drink cola? The answer takes us back to a sweltering Atlanta afternoon in 1886, where a morphine-addicted pharmacist accidentally created the world's most enigmatic flavor while trying to cure his own addiction. This isn't just the story of how cola was invented, it's the story of how a medicinal mistake became humanity's most successful flavor deception. What we're about to uncover will change how you taste every cola for the rest of your life. Let's start with the mystery itself. Cola's flavor profile is genuinely baffling to the human palate. Unlike strawberry, which clearly tastes like strawberries, or orange, which obviously tastes like oranges, cola doesn't taste like anything that exists in nature. There's no cola fruit or cola plant. The flavor is entirely artificial, yet it feels familiar and comforting. Food scientists call this the bliss point, a combination of sweet, acid, and aromatic compounds that triggers pleasure centers in our brain without corresponding to any specific taste memory. Cola hits notes of citrus, vanilla, cinnamon, and caramel simultaneously, but in proportions so carefully balanced that no single element dominates. Your brain recognizes the pattern, but can't isolate the components. This confusion is intentional. Early cola creators discovered that complex, hard-to-identify flavors created stronger brand loyalty than simple ones. If you can't figure out exactly what you're tasting, you can't easily replicate it or find a substitute. The mystery becomes part of the addiction. Blind taste tests reveal just how deep this mystery goes. People can identify cola versus other sodas with 95% accuracy, but when asked to describe what makes it distinct, accuracy drops to nearly random chance. We know it when we taste it, but we can't explain why we know it. This phenomenon is exactly what John Stith Pemberton stumbled into on May 8, 1886, in Atlanta, Georgia. Pemberton was a Confederate Civil War veteran who had become addicted to morphine after being wounded in battle. By the 1880s, he was a respected pharmacist running a small operation, but he was desperately seeking alternatives to morphine for pain relief. His experiments had led him to create various patent medicines, the cure-all tonics that promised to solve every health problem imaginable. That May afternoon, Pemberton was working on his latest creation, a syrup combining extracts of coca leaves. Yes, cocaine was legal then. Cola nuts for caffeine, vanilla, citrus oils, and a blend of aromatic ingredients he'd been experimenting with for months. He called it Pemberton's French Wine Coca and marketed it as a cure for headaches, fatigue, and various ailments. But when Atlanta passed prohibition laws later that year, Pemberton had to remove the wine from his formula. Working with his bookkeeper, Frank Robinson, he reformulated the syrup to be mixed with carbonated water instead of wine. Robinson suggested the name Coca-Cola and designed the now famous script logo. On that first day at Jacob's Pharmacy in downtown Atlanta, exactly 9 people bought the new drink. It cost 5 cents a glass and was served from a simple syrup mixed with soda water at the pharmacy's fountain. None of those first customers could have imagined they were tasting what would become the world's most recognizable flavor. Here's what made Pemberton's creation genius. He had accidentally combined ingredients that individually were familiar, but together created something entirely new. The citrus provided brightness, the vanilla added smoothness, the cola nut contributed bitterness and caffeine, and the coca leaves added a slight numbing sensation that enhanced the other flavors. But the real magic was in the proportions and the secret aromatic blend. a combination of oils and extracts that Pemberton had developed through months of trial and error. This blend, which included everything from lemon and orange oils to cassia and neroli, created the mysterious base note that made cola recognizable but indefinable. Frank Robinson understood immediately that they had something special, but he also understood that the complexity of the flavor could be turned into a marketing advantage. He began promoting the secret formula almost from day one, suggesting that Coca-Cola's unique taste came from a closely guarded recipe that no competitor could duplicate. This was the birth of one of marketing's most enduring myths, the secret formula. When Asa Candler bought the Coca-Cola formula from Pemberton in 1891, he took the secrecy concept and turned it into corporate legend. Candler claimed that only 2 people in the world knew the complete formula, that it was kept in a bank vault, and that the 2 people who knew it were never allowed to travel together. Was any of this true? Probably not entirely, but it didn't matter. The myth of the secret formula became part of Coca-Cola's identity. Customers felt like they were drinking something mysterious and exclusive. Competitors were intimidated by the suggestion that the recipe was impossibly complex to reverse engineer. The truth is that cola's basic formula isn't particularly secret or complex. By the early 1900s, chemists could analyze Coca-Cola and identify most of its components. The mystery was in the precise proportions and the specific sources of the aromatic oils, details that mattered enormously for taste, but weren't impossible to figure out. Yet Coca-Cola maintained the secrecy theater for over a century. They built an actual vault in their Atlanta headquarters. They created elaborate rituals around recipe protection. They sued competitors who claimed to have cracked the code. The secret formula became part of American corporate mythology. But here's where the story gets really interesting. The secrecy actually worked too well. In 1898, a pharmacist named Caleb Bradham in New Bern, North Carolina, decided to create his own cola. He called it Pepsi Cola and marketed it as a digestive aid that would cure dyspepsia, stomach problems. Bradham's formula was different from Coca-Cola, slightly sweeter with a cleaner citrus note and less of the mysterious aromatic complexity. The differences were subtle but significant. Coca-Cola had a more complex, slightly medicinal undertone that reflected its origins as a patent medicine. Pepsi was brighter, simpler, more straightforward. Both were cola, but they represented different approaches to the mysterious cola flavor profile. This is when cola preference psychology got really fascinating. People didn't just prefer one over the other. They developed fierce loyalties that seemed completely disproportionate to the actual taste differences. Families would argue about Coke versus Pepsi. Restaurants would lose customers for serving the wrong cola. Regional preferences emerged that lasted for generations. Why such intense loyalty to such similar products? Because cola's mysterious flavor profile made people feel like they had discovered something personal and unique in their preference. Since they couldn't articulate what they tasted, their choice felt more emotional than rational. It wasn't just about flavor, it was about identity. Soda fountain operators in the early 1900s became amateur flavor detectives, trying to reverse engineer both formulas to create their own house colas. Some succeeded partially, creating regional brands like Royal Crown Cola, which launched in 1905 with a formula that split the difference between Coke and Pepsi. But the most interesting challenger came from Waco, Texas, where pharmacist Charles Alderton created Dr. Pepper in 1885, 1 year before Coca-Cola. Dr. Pepper claimed to combine 23 flavors, making it even more mysterious than cola. While technically not a cola, Dr. Pepper proved that Americans had an appetite for complex, indefinable soda flavors that defied easy description. As cola spread globally in the mid-20th century, something fascinating happened. Different countries began adapting the flavor to local tastes while maintaining the essential cola mystery. Mexican Coca-Cola used cane sugar instead of corn syrup, creating a cleaner, brighter flavor that many Americans now prefer. European colas often had more pronounced citrus notes. Asian versions sometimes incorporated local aromatic ingredients while keeping the basic cola profile recognizable. These international variations revealed something important. Cola's mysterious flavor was adaptable precisely because it was so complex. You could adjust individual components without losing the essential cola-ness that made it recognizable worldwide. Local cola brands in various countries attempted to crack the code with mixed success. Inca Cola in Peru became more popular than Coca-Cola by emphasizing tropical fruit notes. Thumbs Up in India succeeded by making cola spicier and more intense. These weren't copies, they were interpretations of the cola concept adapted to different palates. But the mystery persisted. Even when local chemists analyzed international cola formulas, they could identify components but couldn't easily replicate the specific proportions and sourcing that made each version distinct. Today, the craft cola movement has finally begun demystifying what we're actually tasting when we drink cola. Small batch cola makers like Fentimans, Boylan, and dozens of artisanal producers have reverse-engineered the basic formula and aren't shy about sharing their discoveries. The revelation is both surprising and obvious. Cola is essentially a citrus vanilla spice blend with caramel coloring and phosphoric acid for tartness. The mystery ingredients that give cola its distinctive character turn out to be remarkably straightforward. Vanilla extract provides the smooth base note that makes cola feel creamy and familiar. Citrus oils from lemon, orange, and lime create those bright top notes that give cola its initial zing. Cinnamon and cassia add the warm spice undertones that make cola feel more complex than simple fruit sodas. Nutmeg contributes subtle complexity that your brain registers but can't quite identify. Neroli, from bitter orange, adds the sophisticated depth that distinguishes cola from basic citrus drinks. And caramel provides both the iconic color and a slight burnt sweetness that rounds out the flavor profile. The secret was never exotic ingredients. It was the precise proportions and the quality of the individual components. A little more vanilla makes it too smooth. Too much citrus makes it cleaning product-like. The balance is everything. Modern craft cola makers have proven that you can create recognizably cola flavors using natural ingredients and transparent processes. Some are arguably better than the originals, more complex, more interesting, less cloying sweet. Yet even with the formula solved, the mystery persists in popular culture. Coca-Cola still maintains its vault. People still debate the differences between Coke and Pepsi. New cola brands still market themselves as having secret recipes. Why? Because the mystery was never really about the ingredients. It was about the experience. Cola represents something uniquely American. The triumph of marketing over reality. The creation of tradition through repetition. The transformation of industrial chemistry into emotional connection. Food historian Sarah Lohman explains it this way. Cola succeeded because it made the artificial feel natural and the complex feel simple. People didn't want to understand what they were drinking. They wanted to feel like they were drinking something special. That's the real secret of cola flavor. It's not about what's in the bottle, it's about what's in our heads. We taste mystery because we expect mystery. We taste complexity because we've been told it's complex. We taste familiarity because cola has become the default flavor of celebration, comfort, and normalcy. Every time you take a sip of cola, you're tasting more than vanilla and citrus oils. You're tasting 130+ years of marketing genius, cultural mythology, and collective taste memory. You're drinking a flavor that exists nowhere in nature but feels more familiar than water. Cola isn't just a flavor, it's a magic trick that we've all agreed to believe in. And that might be the most American thing of all, turning a morphine addict's medicinal experiment into the world's most beloved mystery, one fizzy sip at a time. The secret of cola isn't what's in it. It's that we all decided the secret was worth keeping.